making a quick video tonight, and somebody inboxed me asking me a question of why do I feel that Africa is still in bondage? So I'm going to tell you. Africa is still in bondage because we mentally feel inferior to our enemies. Most of us have adopted European religion, forsaken all of our cultures and traditions. And in our mind, we feel that European history and culture and education is superior than ours. Until we defeat that mindset, and until we take our culture back and we honor our ancestors by keeping their traditions alive, we're going to continue to be in bondage to our enemies. One of the other reasons why Africans are still not progressing as a nation of people is because we have not yet come to understand that we cannot continue to be civil to our enemies. Queen Winnie Mandela understood that. A lot of people painted her as a bloodthirsty person, but you forget that our enemies shedded so much innocent blood of our ancestors to get everything they have in our land, murdering millions upon millions of Africans to steal their resources and land and wealth. So how can they come back now, hundreds of years later, and want to be civil when it comes to things that they stole? They want to come back and try to make deals and make treaties that they didn't even honor when our ancestors were trying to do things civically 100 years ago. So now it's time for us to understand we have to throw away all the things Europeans ever told us about ourselves and relearn our history and our knowledge from the beginning. Reading the stories of the great queens of Africa and the great kings of Africa gave me so much pride in who I am as an African woman. It's given me so much pride that I cannot look at European history as something really significant. Take time to think about what I'm saying. Okay, how can I break this down for people who are a little bit lost? When you say someone's history is more superior than yours, that means you hold those people in a high regard. Now, how many Black people really hold African history in a high regard? Not many. Most of us don't even know our history. So if you don't know of your history and you don't know your origins of where you come from, you cannot take pride in something you don't understand. I hear so many Black people here in America speak ignorantly about Africa and about the history they don't understand. I hear so many ignorant Black people saying here in America that we sold each other into slavery. Why is it when the Portuguese went to Africa in the 1400s, they start coming to the shores of Africa. They started in the Congo, which is now Angola, and they start realizing these people had so much wealth. They said nobody was poor living amongst them. You had so much material wealth. They saw it. They said in order for us to overtake these people, we're going to have to psychologically weaken them. So what they did, they brought in religion. They start teaching us their religion to weaken our minds. And then over time, we start losing interest in our own culture and customs. We stop wearing our clothes. We start wearing European clothes. We start speaking Portuguese, forgetting our native tongues. And then eventually these people stole our land and all of our treasures and left us with their false doctrine. That is why Africa is still crippled till this day. We have to throw away the false doctrines. Now, what am I saying? If you close your eyes and you see a white Jesus when you pray, then you're still in bondage. If you pray and you think that your God does not look like you, you're in bondage. And I know a lot of you people want to say out there, Well, what does it matter? Like, why does it matter? What did Jesus look like? It's about his sacrifice. No, it does matter, because if it did matter, why did they go and distort all of the history when it came to our God? Why did they have to go and switch stories? Why did they have to create all these falsehoods within our religion if their God was truly white? If God was truly white, why all the deception? Take time to think about that. Take time to think about that. Do you think Europeans will worship a black Jesus? I just got to look at a few people out there. Take time to think about that. Whoever holds the image of God controls the way people view them. So that's why you have a lot of black people till this day still try to hold white people in a high regard, because they really believe that their God that they worship is white, like the white man. And that's the biggest lie going. We have to first have a revolution in our mind, unlearn all the lies, unlearn all the false doctrines, then learn the truth. And that's the journey that I've been on, going on 3 years now. I started this journey of first learning about the kings and queens of Africa so I could teach my children the history. And then it became a passion. And from that passion, it made me a true Pan-Africanist who's fighting for the liberation of her people globally. I have to first understand, before we actually have a physical revolution, a mental one has to take place. And I understand that a lot of people that are living in the African diaspora are psychologically damaged because of the lies. We don't know what's true. We don't know where to even begin. But it starts unlocking your mind to see the truth. Once I discovered that Caesar Borgia was not God, and that was the whole image the church kept showing us from the time I was a little girl, was in magazines, it was in Christian books, it was on a projection screen at church. You'll see this false image of Jesus, and you see these people praying and worshiping. That's worshiping white supremacy. That's worshiping their God. Their God looks like them, but that's not my God. And that's what I'm here to say. If you still see a white image of God, you are still enslaved in the mind. If you think that it does not matter the color of God, again, you're deceived, my brother or sister. Start doing your research when it comes to what you even believe. When it comes down to belief, that's where we are still in bondage, because we've been taught, it's been beat into us, it's been conditioned into us since the time we were children, what we believe. We've never been able to really think on our own. And that's what religion does. It keeps you from thinking freely and articulately. Most Christians that I run into, or most people that are religious, no offense if you are, they do not articulate things very well. They don't think things fully on their own, because eventually they have to bring, well, I can't go against the word of God. Oh, I can't go against what God's word says. Okay, but God also gives you a brain and common sense, right? Right? I would hope so, yes. Okay, so you have to see everything clearly in order to see where your freedom is going to start. Until we start taking pride in who we are, until we learn to love ourselves for who we are, we're always going to be in bondage to European nations. I have come to hate my oppressor and everything that they have ever said about my people and about my great country of Africa. I despise all their teachings. I don't even want to look like them. I go to great lengths to make sure that I show my African pride daily, to show them that I despise them. I don't want to look like those who have oppressed my ancestors. Okay, so that's something that I want every black person to think. If you look in the mirror and you hate your skin, remember who put that hate there. If you look in the mirror and you say, I hate this nappy hair of mine, or I hate that my hair's not straight, remember who put that hate there. Until we can look in the mirror and see a God staring back at us, we're always going to be in bondage. Do you understand that we're the God particle in living flesh? We're the God particle that scientists talk about. Melanin is the God particle. Our melanin is the building blocks of life. It's the atoms. Our melanin is in everything. The universe is made from melanin. All of this that you see here is worth more than diamonds and gold. My melanin, your melanin, is worth more than diamonds and oil. Research that. Take pride in yourself as a Black woman. I'm getting so sick and tired of seeing our daughters who do not have an identity crying because they don't look European, crying that their hair is not straight, crying that they're not light skinned, which means they have recessive genes, by the way, crying to look like something that is not even on their level of beauty. We have to reprogram of how we see ourselves. Do you know, Black women, we were praised for our beauty, not only being great warriors, but we were praised for our beauty throughout history. Europeans worshiped us for thousands of years for our bodies, for our beauty. We were the most sought after women within Rome and Greece. They made many stories about us. Even a constellation Andromeda is about yours truly, honey. Okay? So take time to understand where the self-hate comes from. And that's where you're going to have to destroy it at. That is how Africa is going to become a nation, is when people start to love and respect one another. And I'm also going to say something to the brothers out there that I love from the bottom of my heart. You're going to have to start loving your own women's natural hair. Okay? I hear so many Black men saying, well, I wish my girl wore her own hair. Okay, so when she does wear her own hair, why is it you say, well, what are you going to do with it? Well, my hair is natural now. When I've done 2-strand twists, I've done Bantu knots, I've coiled it, I've got locks, I'm trying to get my hair into a healthy state. Praise her for what she's doing. Admire what she's doing. If you see your sister, or and she's struggling to wear her own natural hair, keep encouraging her. Do you understand that Black women have been taught to hate their hair since the beginning of time in this country? Our hair is our crown and glory, and it's something that they feel is a threat. I notice when I have my fro out, a lot of people look at it and they're curious about how it feels. Yes, I have to break hands daily, it feels like. I absolutely told a lady, I will break your hands. Do not touch my hair. She looked shocked. I said, I will break your hand. Do not touch me. I just wanted to just see what it, okay, it's fine to ask, but still, no. You could have been digging in your ass, and plus it's Corona season. Please do not touch me. That's how I address them. You kind of got to be that way with them because they feel they can walk them and touch you any kind of way. No, not today, bitch. I got to be like that. Take time to understand that for hundreds of years, we have been controlled by how we can wear our hair. Most of the time throughout history, we had to have our hair shaved because they said that we had lice. They'll say that our hair was unclean and unkept. So most slave owners would shave the heads of their slave women. So we never learned how to care for our hair because we were too busy tending to the cotton fields, tending to master chasing us. All this other stuff was going on. Most of us never really understood how to love our hair. And then in like the 1800s, the potato relaxer came along and we start destroying our hair, trying to look like our oppressor. The closer you were to look like master, the closer to freedom people thought that they were. If I can get my hair straight like master, or I can get my skin light as master, then that means I'll be seen more beautiful and more attractive. But you're still in chains though, but you look like master. Where does the common sense come from that? That's the psychological programming that we have to destroy within us. There should be no war against dark skin, light skin. Light skinned women were raped horribly during slavery. They had brothel houses filled with, forgive me for saying this, full of mulatto women. I was reading about the Bonton in New Orleans. You would have mostly biracial African women who were probably a product of rape or whatever happened during those times, and they would have a brothel full of them because they had black in them. They looked more exotic, so they used to have this whole brothel full of mulatto women. Some they never married. They just treated them pretty much like a side piece. They had whole hidden families with them, and they would take care of them most of the time. But eventually, if they grew tired, they fell into destitute and could go back into their slave state at any time they chose to. So this is the hidden history that a lot of black women don't understand. Why do we feel the ways that we feel about ourselves? I can stand here today and say that I love my blackness so much. I love my melanated skin. I love my thick, coily hair. I love my voluptuous body, my brown eyes. I don't need contacts to feel beautiful. I don't need to wear straight extensions to feel sexy, because I can be sexy all in my natural glory, okay? And if that's not good enough for you, and that's something I'm going to have to say too, until black women understand the kind of men that are attracted to that, if a man is not attracted to you in your natural state, without all the straight hair and the contacts and the makeup, then that means he doesn't even know what a real woman is. Okay? So take time to think about that. If a man sees me without makeup and he can love me in my natural state, then that means he truly loves me. Makeup is very deceiving. Once a girl washes her face and takes her extensions out, you don't even know who's laying next to you no more. Wait a minute. I would be scared. I really feel that men should really see you for who you are and know right then and there, do they love you or accept you? If they can't see you like that, if you've been in a relationship and a man has never saw your natural hair ever, there's something wrong. So that's what I really want to say. Until we as African people take pride in our culture and everything that makes us who we are, we will continue to be defeated by Europeans. My favorite quote of Queen Nyangi, okay? The Europeans don't know what's good. I'm telling you, until this day, this is 2020, and I'm still quoting that famous quote. They don't know what's good for us. They don't know what's good for our nation. She said that 500 years ago, they don't know what's good. They don't know what's good for our people. We know what we need. Europeans don't. For every African out there, and this is talking about African Americans and also Africans in the continent, wherever you are in the African diaspora, if you feel that Europeans have an answer for you, you're sadly mistaken. Marcus Garvey said a nation that depends on another nation to give them freedom and liberation will soon perish. And that's what's happening to us. How is it that Chinese can throw Africans overboard in shark-infested waters, deny us health care at their hospitals, when you have the most brilliant, most overachieved doctors in Nigeria? We want to go live among people who hate us? Do you see how we're being brainwashed into hating ourselves so much? Everything that Europeans have that make them look superior come from us. Do you understand? Everything that Europeans have is our wealth. The wealth that they're hoodwinking us out of and teaching us to hate is what they lust over. That's why they have so many wars on the continent of Africa. They have so many wars there because they know the wealth of Africa. Most Africans don't. That's why they leave and go live abroad and live other places. Eventually, I am going to move back to Africa, and I'm going to say this. The day I ever get on the continent, Europeans better run. They better run because it's going to be an awakening like they never saw ever. It's going to be an army of us understanding what they've done, and it's going to have to be hell to pay. It's been 400 years, and we're still facing oppression. And my question to the black men out there, why are women still left to fight this war? Okay, so we have a warrior spirit in us. Most African women have the spirit of a warrior. I know I have a spirit of a warrior, and I'm ready to go to war. But I don't want to go alone without my men. Men have strength that a woman don't have. Y'all have the upper body strength. We have the lower strength because y'all supposed to be the protectors. Why are we protecting the black cause? Why we have more women a part of the Black Panther Party since 66? Even till this day, we have more women than we have men. And that's my question. Do you want women to protect you and make you look like a coward? You going to hide behind your mother's skirt when danger comes? Or are you going to rise up and fight? That's something that I have to ask the men. We say we want a liberated Africa. Okay, men, you want a liberated Africa? What are you going to do to get it? Are women going to have to put you to shame? We supposed to be able to be feminine and let you be strong. A wise teacher taught me that today. Black women are strong because we know nobody's going to protect us. Crystal, I love you, sis. Yep, done drenched the whole continent out, used up, stole all the resources, reprogrammed everybody, came up with, hold on. Yep, came back with recycled goods and theories and handed it back to us as shitty gifts. Sis, you better tell the truth. That's exactly what they did, Crystal. Facts. It's time for us to return the favor. Okay, the reason why Africans are still globally disrespected is because we allow it. We have to start taking our part and what we allow. Okay? I am happy to say, I'm not going to sit here and, yell at everybody. I'm happy to see Africans are waking up. When they had said we're not guinea pigs and you're not going to test vaccines on us, and they tore those vaccination sites down, I was proud of my brothers in the Ivy Coast. I was proud of my sisters that are rising up saying, no more will you experiment on us. The people are rising up, and I'm proud. But we need more men. As I said before, here in Virginia, we're recruiting for the Black Panther Party. And we need some strong militant men that are not afraid to stand against the status quo and go to battle for their community. And how do you go to battle? By being the example in your community. So if you live in the Hampton Roads, Palencia area, whether you live in Norfolk, Chesapeake, Newport News, Hampton, Williamsburg, we need you. We want you. And you'll be appreciated. And I'm going to tell you something. Once you start being in community, talking to the people and seeing the needs of your people, that will give you a different perspective on everything. It's anyone can sit down and watch the news and cry. But it takes a brave person to stand up and say, I'm going to make a change. And that's what we're looking for. People who truly have a passion for the African diaspora and want to make a change. I see so many brothers in my inbox from Africa saying, how can I join? What can I do to help? I love you guys. I love my brothers and sisters in Kenya, Nigeria, Gambia. Everyone be in my inbox. I love y'all guys so much. Ghana, I love y'all. Nigeria, I can't say everybody. Somalia, I love y'all guys. Thank y'all for your support. Y'all can start your own private sectors. You just have to inbox Mike Payne and he'll lead you where to go. I've said that many times before. So I'm going to end this video. And I want this to stay on your mind. The only way Africa can get its liberation is if we rise up and have love for our culture, our heritage, our people, and we get the knowledge of who we are back. Once you understand that we created everything on the face of the earth that Europeans use today, including the toilet, the stove, everything we use today, we created. Why? Because our civilization is 48,000 years older than European civilization. So everything they're using, we already did it. Okay? Just letting you know that if you don't know. Until we get that knowledge, we're going to continue to be hoodwinked and looked down on. Take pride in your African ancestry. Take pride knowing that you're the God particle in the living flesh. I love you, brothers and sisters. Good night.